Well, I've already done that. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I am Heneka Watkis-Porter, and this is Heneka Watkis-Porter live on Jamaicans.com. Now, of course, last week I should have been here, but let me apologize for that because I was at another event and that event kind of went over time. So I wasn't able to leave to come and come live and share with you guys. But of course, I'm here this week. I'm so excited to be here. Heneka Watkis-Porter. For those of you who are joining me for the very first time, hi, Najendra. Happy to have you. Where are you visiting from? Where are you watching from, rather? I'd love to hear where you're watching from. Right, so I am the founder and CEO of Patwa Apparel. If you know about that brand, that Jamaican brand, then I am the person behind it. So you get to put a face, I guess, to the name, to the brand, Patwa Apparel. And also to my credit, I'm an author. I am a podcaster. I am a speaker. Hey, Andrea from Dallas. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. Right. So I am the creator and host of the podcast, The Entrepreneurial You, and that is going so well already. It's touching over 60 countries since I started in March of this year. So amazing things that are going on that I'm doing, but importantly, I'm very, very happy that I've been given this platform by Xavier Murphy. Thank you so much, Xavier. Oh, you're from India. Yes, I know India, of course. I've never been. I really want to visit India. I've never been to India, but it's actually on my list of places to visit as I really, really want to visit the world. So yes, this week I'm coming to you. I mean, I normally come to you with like a magazine program of sorts. So it's not so structured and rigid. It's Sunday evening, you're relaxing, I'm relaxing. And so I have this amazing platform with all of you who are tuning in, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. Yes, Kay, thank you. Watching from Dallas. I love that. I love that. We have Kay and Andrew from Dallas. Awesome. And then we have India in the house. Okay. So we're pretty much global. We've gone global, right? So yes, as I was saying, I really appreciate Xavier for creating this opportunity. You may know that he's a person behind Jamaicans.com, this awesome platform touching hundreds of thousands of people around the world, mainly Jamaicans across the world, but also persons that have necessarily have no Jamaican connection, like Najendra. Am I pronouncing your name right? Najendra Gouda? Yes. So this week I want to talk to us about World Championships. Yes. Oh gosh, I'm saying I'm smiling, but my heart is so heavy. And if you're a track and field fan, then you probably know why my heart is heavy. But I must confess, though, I am not really a sports fan. Like, I am no... Hey, big up my country from Florida. Of course, Jennifer, every time. Of course, I'm no track and field or sports fan, to be honest with you. So let me be clear that, like, I'm one of those wagonists. When the big things are happening, I will jump on board. But, I mean, I'm truly Jamaican at heart, right? I'm Jamaican and I'm Jamaican at heart. And so, yes, although I'm not so much in sports like my husband is and my friends are and stuff, I like to see when we do well as Jamaicans, right? I really love to see when we do well. And I'm sure you love to see when we do well as well. Now, the big topic of the day, let me just get there and get it over and done with, because I know that it's on everybody's minds right now. I mean, some of us are going to need therapy. We need to see a shrink to get over what happened over yesterday. Like, I'm still trying to come to terms with it. Now, here's how I learned of what happened, right? And if you haven't heard of it, then I'll get to it in a minute. But so I was at the beach with my lovely friend Kim from Canada. Kim, come here, let them see your face. Come here, Kim. Yes, this is my lovely friend from Canada.
Hi.
Right. So we're at the beach yesterday chilling. So then I went into the car after the beach and everything. And I heard something about Usain Bolt third. I'm like, huh? Was I hearing correctly? Were they missing? What was it? Was it April All Fools Day or something like that? Because I just could not grasp. I could not. I didn't want to bring myself to that reality, or was it really a reality? And then I came home and I saw the television and I heard the commentary and I'm like, okay, Usain Bolt, third, his last race. That's not quite how we all were anticipating that he would have bowed out. Nonetheless, it happened, right? And it is what it is. Now, I think one of the greater things, and no offense to my friends in the United States, love you dearly, but here's what I think that the concern that a lot of people have, like they wanted Usain. I mean, if he lost, they surely didn't want him to lose to Gatlin. Yeah, like, they didn't want that. I didn't want that. But it happened. It's the reality, right? Um, but then from that reality, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So while you're watching and listening to me, go right ahead and share your thoughts. I mean, we can have question and answers along the way because this is our program, right? So I don't necessarily have to talk. I want you involved. I want the engagement. So the reality is it happened. But I have observed that there are few life lessons that can come from that. And one of them is not because you don't win, not because you don't win. It does not change the fact that you're a champion. Because a true champion doesn't necessarily always win, as it were, as in come first, but it's all about what is happening on the inside and the attitude when that win doesn't happen, right? And that is what a true champion is. And somebody who has done well, I mean, Usain Bolt he has done so much for Jamaica. I mean, this is somebody who is extremely young. I mean, when I said extremely young, I mean, we're not talking about somebody in their 40s or 50s or anything. From he was 15 years old or even before that, because I remember in 2002 rather, when I was a volunteer at the World Junior Games. I was a volunteer with the Ministry of Health. And I remember vividly, that's forever etched in my mind. I saw Usain Bolt run that. Was that 100 or 200 meter? Whatever it was. Oh gosh, I've aged. I don't remember everything. But I saw him run that race. And the entire stadium stood up in his honor. I mean, I felt the chills. It was like it's a moment that is forever etched in time, that you only had to be there to witness and know that this young man has greatness in him. And so he has done so much for Jamaica. He has put us more on the map. Now remember, and this is what I like to say. I mean, it must be the only statistic I know because I quote it all the time, and it is this: Jamaica is just 0.004% of the entire world's population, right? We're not yet 3 million people. I mean, we're about 2.8, which is, as I said, 0.004% of the entire world's population of 7.8 billion people. And the fact that our brand is so strong, our brand presence, our brand awareness is so strong, it says something about us. And Usain Bolt has lent himself over all these many years that he has been on the track, that he has allowed us to even be placed further on this map. For us to be, I cannot go anywhere. If I go anywhere and mention that I'm from Jamaica, the first thing Usain Bolt and Bob Marley, it used to be just Bob Marley that people would say. Like, I say I'm Jamaican, and the first thing that they say is Bob Marley. Now I travel, and now sometimes the first thing, so there's still this competition. It's either they say Bob Marley first or Usain Bolt first, but one of them, they are going to be mentioned. And that says a lot for somebody who is still young, still trying to identify himself and figure himself out, and still trying to do him, but he's also doing this enormous thing for his country. And over these many years, we have watched him done all these things. So a lot of persons are now saying, um, because because we are disappointed. A lot of people, and the emotions will cause this to happen. We're expressing our disappointments in the fact that he came third. I mean, third is still a medal, but for his standard, he has already set the bar so high that third is like it's it's not something that he would want for himself. It's not something that we wanted for him because he has already set the bar so high. He has set his standards so high. Now, having accomplished all that, and all that I've professed the conversation with, and he has done over these many years that he has been on the track, a lot of persons, because the emotions are running high, they're confusing disappointment with ingratitude. And I'd like to posit that not because we express disappointment, certainly I'm sure he too is disappointed with this result. Maybe it could be the fact that it's his last race and he probably didn't give it. I mean, he was probably emotionally and psychologically vested in this race. It probably is. I don't know. I can only speculate. But many people are lashing out because we're saying that we are disappointed. And I'm saying no, not because you express your disappointment, it means that you're ungrateful. He has done so much, and he will forever be our champion. He will forever be incredible, fastest man ever, you know what I mean? And that's it. We will always appreciate what he has done. I mean, yes, you're going to have a few who are pretty much ungrateful and they'll begin because some people are really organized. I'm not the kind of organist. Like I declare, I'm not really a sport person. And I can be a organist, but I'm not the type of organist that is going to jump on his back and start to attack what he's been and who he's been and what he's done over these years, because I do appreciate that. So some lessons to be learned, like I said, that not because you don't win, it doesn't change the fact that you are a champion, because he is a champion and that there's nothing that anyone can take away from him. There are so many life lessons to be learned from that. Another of this life lesson that I want to share that we can learn from this world championship is that you never underestimate the underdog. Never. And that happens in business a lot. A lot of people come in. Now, when you think of the BlackBerry, I mean, what is that? Like some persons who are not my age or younger, you say to them BlackBerry and they ask you, huh, what is that? Right? The BlackBerry company RIM, they took a lot of things for granted. Because I know the underdog and even Samsung and other companies have gone ahead. I won't even mention the iPhone because that's in the league all by itself, right? But they were so comfortable, BlackBerry. They were so comfortable with their position, and they took a lot of the underdogs for granted. Where are they now? Xerox. Where are they now? Right? There is what is the film company? What is it called? Kodak. Kodak. Where they know, right? And so it teaches us, and for many of us in business, this is a very, very solid lesson to be learned, right? It is something that we need to take and apply to our lives on a practical basis, because in this situation, as we're talking about the World Championship, in this situation, Gatlin is the underdog. We know that we need to watch him because, this man is hungry. He's hungry, and that's it. That's another lesson. I'll get there, right? He was hungry, but he was the underdog. See? Look who he beat Usain Bolt. Like, that is unheard of. Who beats Usain Bolt, really? Right? That's like not possible. But the lesson here is don't ever take the underdog for granted. And I mentioned that Gatlin was hungry. When you're hungry for something, when you're desperately going after something, you're failing every day, but you're still going. One day, you are going to get what you're going after. and it can probably come at the least anticipated moment. The least anticipated moment. Now, before I get, hey, he will always be our champion. Love from Hanover, Jamaica. Of course, Angela. Always, always, always. I mean, I am like, I feel so personally connected to him, and I haven't met him yet, and that's going to change. But I feel so personally connected to him because I remember when I was watching him in the stadium in 2002. I remember that the way he made me feel as a Jamaican, and I will live with that every single day of my life. So I was talking about the fact that he is so hungry, Gatlin is so hungry, and he was going after his meal. He's got his plate full, and we don't want to take anything away from him because a win is a win is a win, and he won that race. So let me also be fair and acknowledge that Justin Gatlin, he won that race, and I want to extend congratulations to him. Truth is, I wish it wasn't the case. Like seriously, they may have to take me to a shrink, right? I mean, he's a psychologist when I'm done, when all this is over. I know I was even last night. It was like therapy for me, just stating some life lessons on YouTube. I mean, Facebook, what this has all meant to me, and what I can learn from it, because there are so many lessons that we can learn. Another important lesson, life lesson, that it is quite obvious is that it is in when you're disappointment. Hey, well said. Well, big up. Thank you, Leighton. Thank you. Happy to have you and Angela, Jennifer, Kay, Najendra, Andrea. So happy that you've tuned in. Right? Is that it's in your moments of defeats that you really know what people think about you, and I don't think right now. I think right now the majority of Jamaicans, and it's just a few. I'm sure it's just a handful of people who would be now trying to berate and belittle Bolt and trying to take away from what he's done. And it doesn't matter what they say. He's already accomplished so much. Like it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. He's such an amazing person, and look at how graceful he is. That's another important life lesson in his defeats, embracing his opponent, and the worst possible opponent in the sense, like you could think of where he's concerned, right? And we're not saying as a person, Gatlin, or we're not attacking his personality or his person. We're just talking in the spirit of sport and track and field and what it means. And again, I'm not even like I'm declaring. I'm not even a fan of sports, but I do get involved. I mean, I'm Jamaican, and it's just whether or not I pay attention to it, I'm just gonna know about it because I'm Jamaican, right? So let me say that first and foremost. But he's been so gracious in his defeat, and defeat the sense that because a medal is not defeat, but in the true sense of who Bolt is and what our expectations of him is, then certainly it's defeat. And when you look at how he responded at the end, when he was doing that interview, and how he embraced his opponent, then you can say truly that he is worth every penny that we ever bet on him, that he's worth every grain of salt that you could ever invest in him, that all those sponsorship dollars that went into him. And at this point, I want to say just big up and acknowledge Digicel, because from the very get-go, they came on as a sponsor. It is so difficult at times when you're just starting any project to get people on board. Most of the times, it's not until you become established and everybody knows you, and you're reaching a certain level, that you begin to get the respect and the level of support, because a lot of people will support verbally and orally, but when it comes down to putting their money where their mouths are, not so much, right? Excuse me. So that's a challenge, and we say big up to them. Right, so he was very gracious, and there are so many other life lessons that we can learn from what happened. Again, and I guess this is the biggest one, but we move into today, and in that 100-meter race, Elaine Thompson, She was placed fifth. Was it fifth? I think, yeah, fifth. No, that's another blow to Jamaica's ego, or track and field ego, right? We weren't expecting that. But then again, life lessons. In life, it's not always the things that we expect that we get. How do we deal with the things that are not necessarily in alignment with our expectations? Can we find the strength necessary to pivot, whether it be a physical pivot, whether it be a mental, emotional pivot? Can we switch lanes, switch gear, in a way that 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 we still maintain who we are and still maintain our core? How do we treat with these situations when they happen? It's something for us to really think about. No, I'm going to pause here, and I really want to. I'd love for you to share your thoughts with me, so that we can address any questions that you have, that we can address them. you know, it would be nice. If not, then I will continue. And also say big ups again to Jamaicans.com, to Xavier Murphy and his awesome team. Keeping the Jamaican culture alive. We need the media, trust me, because a lot of our young people are growing up not knowing anything about their culture. So that we can end up, that's where you end up having them calling the bandana tablecloth, because the media, I don't believe, has been doing a fair share of getting our young people rooted and grounded in our rich culture. It is more the elderly people. Our culture is seen as, something to be embraced by those that are more chronologically mature. The young people amongst us are not necessarily, jumping for joy as it relates to our culture. What is it that we need to do as a nation? I think that the media plays an even greater role. I mean, thankfully, Usain Bolt is even larger than life itself. So his legacy will live on, and for years to come, many people will know about Usain. But hundreds of years down the road, if if the media doesn't continue to speak about and highlight and ever so often mention something about Usain Bolt, sooner than later, few hundred years, 10 decades, then that will also get lost. So the media has a great role to play. And again, congratulations to Jamaicans.com for what it has been doing. It has been doing a great job in ensuring that the oral, I mean, with the visual, we get the visual, we get the read, we know what the Jamaicans say, we know the Jamaicans saying, we know all these things because Jamaicans.com has been doing that. And I want to also pull a plug for myself at this point, because Patois Apparel is also about pushing the Jamaican culture. We are also about, making sure that our language, Miss Lou did her part in ensuring that the Jamaican language, is more embraced. Yes, we're still having challenges, and in some spheres of life, it is still seen as Butu language, and certain people in certain parts of the country do not necessarily want to associate with the language, right? Because it is not a part of their socio-economic realm, I would say. So yeah, we have other challenges, but and then we also have some other Jamaicans that are doing well, and we may come back to track and field, to World Championship, if it is that you want us to continue address that. And these two names I mentioned, they're by no means the only two people that are at the World Championship. But again, not even being an avid sports person, I am picking out those because they are most obvious, and it's on everybody's lips right now. I was about to talk about another person who is doing amazingly well, and I don't know if you heard about the Jamaican patois speaking doll from the Zuri company. This is done by Saffron Jackson. Now, Saffron is a Jamaican living in the UK who has created the first talking black doll, patois speaking black doll, right? So let me put her thing here. It's not Zuri. Oops. I'm putting her link here so that you can, if you want, you can actually go check her out. So there's yeah, and the doll talks. The doll name is Taya, and she speaks patois. My name Taya. Me a Zuri doll from Jamaica, and when we go Jamaica, and when I go Jamaica, you have to come with me too. Yeah, really think, and I think Jamaica's.com had featured them. Now they have been covered by the BBC, Yahoo, Huffington Post. Of course, the Jamaican Star, Jamaican Observer, Jamaica Information Service, you name it. They've had a flurry of media attention, and rightfully so, because they're doing pretty well. And so many other plans, and thankfully, can I tell you that Patois Apparel has established a connection with Zuri. So we have some projects in the works, which I won't talk about right now, but just stay tuned. On patoapparel.com, you can also see my collection, and we also have the Zuri collection as well, right? So you can check us out there, right? So we're all about promoting Jamaican culture, and I would love to hear from you. What is it that you're doing in your neck of the woods? What is it that you're doing to keep the Jamaican culture alive? Do share with me, and I will share it as well, and let everybody, let's have this wonderful discussion. Yeah. So many awesome people doing amazing things. Now, another person again is the Rev. I don't know if you know about Rev Jewelry. It's a brother and sister. Their brother and sister duo team. They're doing amazingly well. They have been creating handcrafted jewelry. Very wonderful statement pieces. They're in Devon House, Kingston, Jamaica. Wonderful handcrafted piece, but they kind of widen their thing a bit, and what they're now doing is taking in other Caribbean designers and stuff. So a nice collection of rich culture of Caribbean people and designers and stuff that are in that outlet that they have. Now, an interesting thing about them is that they're not only about sales and the bottom line, which that is obviously very important, but for the last 4 years they have been doing what they call the Rev Wellness Fest, and they have a flurry of a slew of events that are leading up to the festival, and the festival is actually on next Sunday, which is the 13th of August. And they're all into wellness, all into giving back, and so on. So if you're in Jamaica, there's one person I think that you can actually support. Let me just take a break here to remind any person who is just coming on, that I am Heneka Watkis-Porter. I am the founder and CEO of Patois Apparel, as well as the host and creator of the podcast, The Entrepreneurial You. You can find The Entrepreneurial You on henekawatkisporter.com. And every week I feature global high impact entrepreneurs to inspire our community here, our Caribbean community. We want to give another perspective, not just the Caribbean perspective, but we want to give another perspective to us here in the Caribbean, and we want them to be exposed to a global way of thinking. So we have people from Singapore, from Australia, New Zealand, and England and stuff, and the US, of course. So it's a show that I would love for you to check out. If you go on henekawatkisporter.com and click on the podcast tab, then you will see what's going on there. And I also have another event which I'm excited to share with you, but I won't do that until later, right? So I want to hear from you. Wave at me, let me know that you're still here and that you're still watching. And I also want to say at this juncture that you can advertise right here on Jamaicans.com. You see, and this is an example of what I'm doing, just so you get a feel of what could happen when you advertise. So here am I doing product placement for my Pato apparel collection. See my big brand across my chest. This is how you can contact us, and you can actually get your product or your service, or in the same way where you see me mention these links right here, Pato Apparel and HenekaWatkis-Porter.com and so on and Zuri. You can also have your item, your product, your service advertised right here. So it's an opportunity for you to share. And trust me, the packages are quite reasonable. And we have a really great audience. We go anywhere between, every time I do a live here, between 4,000 and 6,000 viewers. So that is pretty good. And then the overall online community, the overall Jamaicans.com community, is over 100,000 strong. Like, yeah, think about almost 120,000 members of this community. So it's a great platform for you to share what it is that you're doing, and you're getting results from it, because you have a community of persons in the diaspora and persons who are looking, to do business with persons. I believe so much that as Caribbean people, we need to be pulling together as Jamaicans, pulling together and doing business with each other, and supporting each other so that our community can grow, so that we can all benefit. Because once we begin to support each other, then that effect, that domino effect of the impact, is really great, and it augurs well for all of us. What say you, my friends? Where are you? Kay, are you still there? Kay? Jennifer, Angelo, Leighton. Where my friends? Right. So are you all probably watching the games right now, the World Championships, and you probably, so what I'm going to do here, because I figure you probably are doing that. I probably sign out a bit earlier than I would, but I just thought I would come on today. Like, I wasn't here last week, so I thought I would come on today and share my two piece about the Usain Bolt result yesterday. And it's so funny. If you're watching, do you recall that he didn't win, but yet all the attention was being placed on him? What does that say for somebody? What does it say? You don't win, as we know winning to be. I mean, he's not a loser for sure. Like, by no stretch of the imagination could we call him a loser. But what does it say when somebody doesn't win, and but yet the attention is all on you? It means that you're a true champion. It means that you're a winner. It means that you're a winner, because we wanted the fairy tale ending. I did. Sure, you did too. Wanted that fairy tale ending, which never took place. But it is what it is. It certainly is what it is. Paul. Hi, Buckmiller. Paul Buckmiller. Where are you from, Paul? Yeah, that's true. That's so true. Where are you from? Yeah, right. You know what I mean? But life goes on. I think that each and every one of us get to experience not many people in our lifetime who brings out this level of, I don't even know, I'm at a loss for it. I don't even know what to call it. But I don't think it's in my lifetime I will ever see it again. It may happen, it may not. But I'm truly happy to have been born in this time, that I get to witness somebody like Bolt. That I didn't actually have to hear about somebody, hear somebody telling me about, we had this man called Usain Bolt, and he was this person, and so on. I'm truly happy. I'm having this pain in my neck. I don't know why. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. Yeah. I'm truly happy in my lifetime that I get to witness his awesomeness, And I know in the past, because of certain indiscretions, people have even come down on him. But we all have our moments when we slip up. Like, show me somebody who has a perfect life, and I tell them that no, they've been probably been carved out of wood or something. They're not normal. And I think even as I get and I'm approaching, yes, let me say it, even as I'm approaching 40, I'm now getting having a deeper understanding and appreciation for life and what life is about, and accepting the fact that I make mistakes. Like, I make terrible mistakes, like huge, big, right? I make mistakes from time to time, and that's life. We all go through those moments when we do the wrong thing, we say the wrong thing, we offend people, we just don't do the right thing. But then we get to practice, we get to sometimes erase and wheel and come again. And as long as there's life, we have a second chance, and we can get better, right? So whatever indiscretion in the past, that's water over the bridge, water under the bridge, you know. And he's done us proud. Shelly on the whole of them, Elaine, all of them over time, they have done us proud, and we are truly grateful as Jamaican people, and they deserve every bit of the accolades that are being placed on them. They add so much to the value. Now, tourism they are contributing so much to the impression, and how foreigners see Jamaica, and that the bar has been raised, and we've been put on an even higher place, on an even higher pedestal, because of persons like Usain and so on. And not just track and field, because we have persons who are into music who are doing us proud. I mean, when we think of, for example, Shaggy and Sean Paul. Yes, Shano, enough respectable. I totally agree. Salute, yeah? Right? So when I think of Shaggy and Sean Paul, for example, who are doing so well, and they continue to shine, raise the flag high for Jamaica, it's awesome. We just had what was that chef, that celebrity cook, that chef there, oh gosh, I forget his name. He's doing so well. Lisa Hanif, Miss World in 1993. There are just so many people who have put this little dot of less than 3 million people on the map. And so we give thanks. We are grateful that we're Jamaicans. And I don't think sometimes, and a lot of you are watching and maybe attest to this, that it's a lot of times when you leave Jamaica that you begin to have a deeper appreciation for your country, right? Because when you're here, sometimes you're immersed into it, and you take a lot of things for granted. You take the fact that, boy, you come, like I hear somebody talk about, he's a musician, he's a Jamaican, yeah, but he's lived abroad for many years. And he comes here and he's blown away, like the ordinary little artist in a studio, like the talent that he sees, and nobody takes them on, want to take them on sometimes, because there's so many of them here that you take for granted, and you have to be really, I mean, they're already good enough, but you have to be really, really, really good to stand out, because it's just like in your blood, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah, it's in your DNA, right? I don't know. I know we're special, and I respect every other nation, and I respect every other country, right? But I know that there is just something that is so extraordinarily special about Jamaica and Jamaicans. And sometimes, we hear the media sometimes bring across, every day we hear the negative in the news, and they're happening, and we can't sweep them on the carpet. We have to acknowledge that they're in fact happening. But when you think about the percentage, like, let's put this into perspective. For, let's say, 2.8 million people here, 10% of 2.8 is 280,000. 10% of 280,000, 28,000. 10% of the 28,000, 2,800. So that is like 0.01% of the population. It's about 0.01% of the population that puts Jamaica in a negative light. Yet their story gets highlighted. Their story is the one that is spread across the media locally, and internationally. When we stop to put that into perspective and to say to ourselves that 99.9% of Jamaicans are decent citizens, either one, going to work and trying to take care of their families, or two, trying to build a business for themselves, or they're probably in school or something, that population there that is not adult age. So when we put things into perspective, we recognize that we're not bad people. It's just that small minority that we continue to put under the microscope in order to highlight them, because we have to put them under the microscope because it's so tiny, right? And we do that, and then we seem to be the worst people ever. You know what I mean? When you put it into perspective, we're not bad. We're not a bad sex. Is there room for improvement? Oh gosh, lots of it. And to say that, the 0.1% that happens, right? It shouldn't happen at all. So I don't want it to come across as though I am condoning it. It should never happen. But sometimes I think if we ignore it, I think sometimes if we say, all right, we're not giving attention to them, because maybe what they want is the attention. The more they get attention, is the more they flare. I believe sometimes that we need not to give any time of day to all of that. I believe that if we go on a campaign and say for a month we highlight nothing negative as the media, I would love for the media to take that on just for a month. Highlight nothing negative. Every single thing that they highlight is positive. Not that it doesn't happen, but if we don't stop to put it out there and continue to feed it to others, we could probably have a transformation. I wonder if the media want to try that. What do you think? You think that's an alternative we could have? We could try? I think we could do that. So yeah, I continue to belabor the point that we're an amazing set of people. I'm proud to be a Jamaican. I'm proud to be contributing to that 99.9%, 99% of people who are making waves. For example, when I take on my podcast, like I said, it started in March of this year, the Entrepreneurial You, and you can look for it in iTunes and on our website, as I mentioned before. And when I started this podcast, it was just me doing it. And what do you know? It's now in 60 countries. It's been aired in 60 countries. And I think that's amazing. And I'm giving hope. And every time I put it out, I look forward to the comments that people are saying, I inspire them. Because I bring on motivational speakers, I bring on coaches, I bring on hosts that of other podcasts who are doing well and making 7-figure US dollars in income. You know what I mean? Those are the people that I bring on the podcast, because I want to say to us here, it is possible. Here's an alternative for you. You may not necessarily be a business person or want to become a business person, but we all want to win in life, right? Some of us want the easy way out, and that's why it ends the 1% that is accounting for the mayhem in our society want to take the easy way out, right? But and why do they do that? They want to win, but not everybody wants to win. To go the way of honesty and truth and what is right. Some want to go the way. Some person want to go the way that's easy. Thank you so much, Shanna. Bless you too, my darling. We want to go the way that is easy. And I say no. So I bring these people on, and I know that I'm contributing to what is right with Jamaica. Like I don't know if you know the Governor General or current Governor General, Sir, what's our Governor General's name? Oh, Jesus, right. Sir Patrick Allen. Oh, I had a senior moment a while ago. Right. When he took office, his inaugural speech, something from it was highlighted, and he says, I believe there's nothing wrong with Jamaica that cannot be fixed by what is right with Jamaica. And that's how he started. And out of that became the I Believe initiative, the IBI, of which I'm an ambassador. I'm one of the first ambassadors that they sent me a letter requesting that asked me if I'd want to be one of their ambassadors. I said, sure, why not? Because I mean, what they're about is exactly what I'm about. I believe that there's so much good that is happening in our country, that it's just that, like I mentioned before, that 1% that makes it look like, oh, not now gone and everything is bad. No, I believe that there's so much good in Jamaica. What are you doing? I'm asking all of you directly who are watching. What are you doing to contribute? Whether you're living in Jamaica or you are now living abroad, what's your contribution? And even if you don't answer, it's something for you to think about, something for you to mull over. How can I make this land of wood and water, this amazing place where our national anthem, have you ever really stopped to listen to our national anthem? When I listen to it, it's like, wow, I get goosebumps every time. And, it was played in church today, and the pledge as well. And when you listen to the words, you know what I mean? And you get really deep in thought of what you're saying, what you're listening to. Well, you just cannot help but be proud to be a Jamaican. There's never a time that is worth being more of a Jamaican than it is now. Like, this is like amazing time to be a Jamaican. I mean, we have people like, for example, even in technology, who Ingrid Riley from Silicon Carib, who is doing her thing, and that's she is like the pioneer in a lot of instances where technology is concerned, in this region. I mean, she's particularly Jamaica, but certainly she's been doing work in the region as well, and a host of other things. So you can probably check out siliconcarib.com. Another person who's doing amazingly well is Yannick Page, with the innovators. She's just been coaching business people. People who want to go into business. She's doing amazing stuff there, and there's so many young people here. Gordon Swaby, who has been of EduFocal, who's been on my podcast as well as Ingrid has also been. He's also doing amazing things. Like, I could run out of time just talking about all Jamaicans here who are really doing well. Agent Sasko wife, Nicole McLaren Campbell, she's just launched a book and she's just taking the place by storm. I mean, I have over 125,000 Instagram followers and all of that stuff. So, you know what I mean? Oh, by the way, guys, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Please follow me on Instagram. I would love to connect with you over Instagram. Let me put in the my Instagram handle, so that you can follow me. I'd love for you to be connecting with me, because there are two Instagram accounts that I have, right? So that one is for HenekaWatkis-Porter.com, and there is also Patwa Apparel, which is the one for the clothing. So on Patwa Apparel, I pretty much post things like cultural stuff or things relating to the clothing line. On HenekaWatkis-Porter.com, I mainly post things regarding the podcast, inspirational stuff and things like that. So I'm all into development, and yeah, I'm not all about work and business and stuff. I do love to have a good time and have fun and whatever. So yeah, that's a little insight into who I am, right? But I love to see people thrive. I love to see positivity. I thrive on positivity. I'm allergic to negativity. Like, seriously, I get a cold. Come on, negative. Oh, coughing, yeah. So that's pretty much what I want to share with you today. If you have subjects, topics that you want me to come on and share, if you want me to research some things for you so we can talk about it another 2 weeks when I get on, because I'm going to now go back to the 2 weeks. We do this every 2 weeks at 6 o'clock, EDT. So EST, that could be 5 o'clock, and stuff like that. So I'm here. And again, I want to say a big thank you to Jamaicans.com for facilitating me being on this platform. I want to say thank you so much to all of you who have been tuning in. Now, I did say to you that I have something interesting to share with you. So let me find the link. And have you go there. 1 second, please. Let me find it, and then and then I share it with you because I love for you guys to be a part of what I'm doing, right? We're building community here. It's very important. And if you have something going on and you want to share it with us right here, we'd be happy to have that. So this is, I'm having now, remember I told you that I'm doing this podcast, right? And I've taken all these people from around the world, like really top of the top. Like every time some people will say, then who you get these people on your show, right? So that's the kind of levels that I'm at. So I've connected with all these people and I thought to myself, you know what? I've been blessed. All the persons who have come on and you know, they've shared so much. And the people who are listening, my community of key performers, they're listening and they're saying, wow, this is awesome. And so I decided, you know what, let's do a virtual conference and expo. So this now is where I'm bringing over 4 days, 16 speakers, and they will address you for, to come on. So that's the link I just showed you. I just shared with you for the virtual conference. Now, when you go there, it tells you all the details about the conference. So if you want to move from stock to unstock, if you want to start raising profits quickly, if you want to start getting into your purpose, moving into your purpose, that is the conference to attend. My speakers are excited. They're excited to come and share information with you. They're so excited to come and share again. I mean, some of them have already shared on the podcast, some of which have been aired already, some are not yet aired because I do record a lot of the shows in advance. But they're excited to speak on this conference, September 25 to 28. So see the link I just shared with you. I'll be happy to have you at the conference. It promises to be amazing. You can share the link with other people. Now, if you have nothing else to share with me, I think I'm going to say love, laugh, light, walk good until next time, next 2 weeks. Not next week, but the other week after, the following Sunday. I'll be here again and happy to do this. It's a Sunday evening. I love to chill with you. It's a Sunday evening where, okay, it's not a structured thing like I would do on my podcast or any other show that I do. It's just, me here just chatting, and engaging you and hoping that you find what it is I'm talking about quite insightful and that you would want to join me and tell a friend to come and join me at another time too. So until then, my wonderful people, until the next 2 weeks, whatever date that is, you can look in your calendar, I don't know. But I will put it up. I usually post it on the page as an event so that it reminds you to come and join me. So walk good. Take care.